Hey, welcome back to the Bound by Art podcast. I'm Missi Blue, tattoo artist, business owner, and your guide to navigating the chaos that is the tattoo industry. If you're an artist looking to grow your business, attract the right clients, and learn how to survive this career without losing your damn mind, then you are in the right place. Every week, I'll be bringing real talk, actionable tips, and hard-earned lessons from my own journey with a side of good vibes and a little bit of sarcasm. Whether you're new to the game, feeling stuck, or you just need a kick in the ass to get that spark back again, this is the show for you. Welcome to Bound by Art. Now let's get to work. Have you ever left a conversation feeling absolutely exhausted, as if someone drained all of your energy? Or maybe the opposite, you walked away feeling pumped, energized, and ready to conquer anything? In this episode, we're diving into the concept of energy vampires and energy amplifiers, those people who either kill your vibe or fuel it. I'll help you figure out who's who in your life, how to set boundaries with the energy suckers, and how to bring more of those uplifting people into your circle. And hey, if you're thinking, I don't know anyone like that, maybe it's time to check yourself. You might be the energy vampire. But don't worry, I've got tips for that too. Stick around because we're talking boundaries, self-awareness, and how to create an environment that keeps your vibe protected and thriving. Have you ever met a person that completely sucks all the energy out of the room? They're probably complaining about something, someone, or everything. The slightest inconvenience has them ranting for hours, flipping tables. They dominated the conversation, and every time you try to change the subject, they took you back to a dark place. They left you feeling completely mentally drained. You may have even gone home with a headache and a bad attitude yourself. Have you ever seen the show What We Do in the Shadows? If not, you're really fucking up because that show is hilarious. It's a mockumentary about vampires in their day-to-day life. Think like The Office, but vampires. So on the show, there's a character, Colin Robinson, who is an energy vampire, and he feeds on the people around him by draining their energy just by talking. The thing that makes this so funny is that is so real. We all know someone just like that. And every time I meet one, I think, energy vampire. On the other hand, have you ever met a person that absolutely lights up a room when they walk in? You're actually stoked to see them. They're super fun to be around. You probably laughed a lot, felt completely at ease around them. Maybe you even left feeling inspired by them. At the very least, you left feeling energized and went home still feeling good about your day, in a good mood. When I picture this person, it's always one of those people that I laugh a lot with, and we just have the best time. I laugh because they're laughing, and sometimes we're not even laughing at anything. We're just having a great time. Like nothing is happening. We're just giggling and just enjoying our time together. Do you know someone who is always hyping you up? They really listen to you. They have great advice. After a conversation with them, you feel confident. You're in a great mood. You just love being around them. I call those people energy amplifiers. Now let's take a moment here to take inventory of the people around you. Really think about who you're spending your days with. The people that you interact with every day, who are you spending the most time with? The people you live with, you work with, even the people that you don't see in person every day, but you might talk to them online or over text message or phone call. Ask yourself honestly, which of these two types of people are they? I'm sure you can point out people on both sides of the spectrum, and it is a spectrum. Anyone could be on either side at different times in their lives, but for the most part, I feel like people live their lives on one side or the other the majority of the time. Who in your life and who in your immediate circle is actually an energy vampire? Sometimes that person is someone very close to you, your mom, your dad, your husband, or your best friend, and you just accept them for who they are and don't really think much of it. But don't you walk away from conversations with them feeling terrible? Aren't you exhausted after spending a few hours with them? Have you ever stopped to really analyze why that is, or better yet, what to even do about it? It really is a tricky situation, and I've been there. Having a family member that never has one good thing to say, everything is awful, every day is the worst day ever. They complain and complain and never change anything to make their life better. They can take any conversation into the darkest of places and drain an entire room. I can't stand this shit. I've known people like this my whole life, and I have never done anything about it. I never stopped to think about what could I do differently. What changes could I make in these situations? Because I never first identified or acknowledged what was even happening. I was just kind of a bystander watching the shit show. But once you're really aware of these two types of people, you can better control the energy that you're allowing into your space. You can't function at your absolute best if there's someone in your immediate vicinity just completely fucking up your vibes. If you can pinpoint the energy amplifiers in your life, you can strategically bring more of that into your life and into your day. And if you can pinpoint who those energy vampires are, you can start taking proactive steps. But you can't always just cut them out of your life completely, right? So what can you do? I'm just going to give you a few of my strategies for navigating this type of nightmare. Number 1, limit the amount of time you give them access to. If it's someone that you don't want to be around, don't. I know I'm making this sound easier than it actually is, especially when it's a family member or maybe even a spouse. But if it's a friend or an acquaintance, you absolutely can, should, and have the right to distance yourself. Don't make plans with them. Don't answer the phone every single time they call. I'm not saying don't spend time with them at all or to cut them out of your life completely. Unless it's actually so extreme that it's harming you and it's not safe physically or mentally for you to be there. But assuming we're talking about people who aren't abusive, they are just miserable to be around, I'm saying you don't have to make yourself available to them at all times. My suggestion is to keep your interactions fewer and farther in between, or to keep them on a time limit. For a friend or a coworker or acquaintance, an easy way to get out of being held hostage by their monologue on why everything in the world is awful and everyone's out to get them is to start the conversation with your window of time. Hey, good to see you. I have a meeting in 10 minutes, but I just wanted to say hi. Hey, I was just about to head out. I got to be home by 7. What's up? Or however you can slip that time frame into the conversation so that you're setting the tone and you're not going to get stuck there in the suck. And I actually use this. She's very nice. She's a very nice lady. I'm not talking shit, but this lady at a store that I frequent, she's a cashier. She loves to talk and she loves to complain and tell me about how awful her job is and how everything there is awful, and tells me all the, gossip and drama of the place. And I've literally had to learn how to escape her. And this works like a charm every time. I'd be like, hey, what's up? I almost said her name. I'm not going to do that to her. Like, hey, what's up? My appointment's waiting on me. I got to get back into the shop. So I let her know right out the gate, I'm in a rush. I don't have time to talk to you. And it gives me an easy out where I set the tone. She already knows I'm running late, so I don't have time to sit there and talk to her all day. If she thinks I have nothing better to do, she's just going to keep going. And she's the type of person that you can't even get a word in because she's having a conversation with herself, basically out loud in your direction. But if I set that tone, as soon as I walk up to the register, she already knows I'm not sticking around long, and it makes it much easier for me to get away. And she doesn't get too deep in with her complaining and gossiping because there's not enough time. But notice how I never say, how are you? Because that's a slippery slope, which is tip number 2. Drive the conversation. Try to steer the conversation in situations like this in such a way that they aren't able to drain your energy. The worst thing you could possibly do is to get them started. If you know going into the interaction that this person has a tendency to get super negative, don't you dare start complaining or give them any reason to get fired up about something. Try to ask questions in a way that won't encourage them to spiral out. And if you're not feeding into it and you're not encouraging the negativity, they start to get bored with talking to you about it, honestly, because they aren't getting that reaction that they want, which kind of ties in with number 3. Ignore the bad behavior and reward the good. If you have children or pets, this comparison might make sense for you. Whatever you give your attention to, you're going to get more of. So if someone is constantly being negative and complaining and ranting to you and you're encouraging it, you're validating them, you're giving them the space and the permission to be their punching bag or their dumping grounds, they're absolutely going to take that opportunity. If you aren't really feeding into it, they aren't getting a reaction that they want, they're going to eventually stop. On the other hand, if they are someone who has a tendency to be like that and you start to see their demeanor changing, you better acknowledge it, encourage it, and celebrate it, or you may never see that side of them again. Number 4, lead by example. If you're a super negative person, always gossiping, complaining, always mad and ranting about something, you can't expect more out of the people around you. You get what you give. So check your own attitude before you start critiquing theirs. This takes a decent amount of self-awareness, something that a lot of people just don't possess. To be more self-aware, you have to reflect often. You have to check in with yourself and be honest about things. Ask yourself, if you have a legitimate issue, are you the problem? Could you have prevented this? Could you find a solution? And are you just talking shit? Honestly answer yourself. And if you are the problem, fix it. I used to be this person. I am 1000% capable of being so fucking negative. My mind goes to really dark places at times. And once I'm there, it's really difficult to pull myself back out. It's taken years to realize this and make the necessary changes so that I don't end up back there again. But like I said, this takes self-awareness and being able to be honest with yourself and hold yourself accountable, which is so hard to do, right? No one wants to admit that everything that is wrong in their life is their fault. No one wants to take the blame and understand that their life now is the result of everything they've done or didn't do up to this point. If I'm struggling with something or with someone, I can look back over the last 1,000 days of my life and almost pinpoint where I fucked up. If I'm not happy with my fitness, what does my track record for the last year or 2 years of working out and eating look like? Not good? Guess what? My fault. Not happy with my schedule? What have I done to fill it or to carve time out for myself? Not enough. My fault. There's always more I could have done to avoid the unpleasant thing that I'm experiencing now. If you want more on that subject, go back and check out episode 3, Be Your Own Hero. I talk a lot more about that. My instinct in the past was to just sit in self-pity, whine, complain, rant, and not do anything to change that. I started to notice everyone around me was like that. And then I started to notice the things I hated about them, I did too. Then it's like, well, shit, if I feel this way about them, there's probably people that feel this way about me too. And I desperately did not want to make people feel like this about me. So I started to make changes. And the more changes I made, the more changes I started to see. And I started to attract less and less of those people. Unfortunately, sometimes it's the client that's the energy vampire. This is possibly the worst case scenario. You're basically being held hostage with them for the duration of their appointment. You could put headphones on, I suppose. I personally can't tattoo with headphones on. I like to talk, but I don't know, I feel like it's rude. If that's your thing, cool, I get it. Like, you have to concentrate. But if you're not a headphones type of person and you're just like stuck there in this conversation, it's rough. I've had a lot of experience tattooing energy drain clients, and my best advice is just to nip that shit in the bud. The first sign of the ship sinking, you got to get the fuck out of there. You either quickly divert the conversation or you take a break, separate yourself from them for a few, and when you come back, you have to be ready to go to battle for your peace. If the conversation starts going dark again, rinse and repeat. Ignore the bad behavior, reward the good behavior. Remember? I had a client like this. I'm sure I've had more than one, but this one stands out to me so much more because I just handled it differently. And the story has kind of like a happy ending to it. So this one's just like sticks out in my mind. She was a stay-at-home mom of like very young children and was getting a whole sleeve. My first session with her, I wanted to fucking quit. And I was kicking myself for signing up for this like 40-ish plus hours with one-on-one with her. Every single thing I said brought her to a new, super depressing, awful topic and would send her into this like complaint spiral. She was very clearly like lonely and depressed and probably didn't get to talk to adults very often, if at all. I tried all the tricks. Change the subject, ignore the negativity, divert the conversation as much as I could. It would work for like a little while, but it would always end up back there. we would take a break and come back, and she would pick right back up where she left off. Like, anyway, so as I was saying, and like, I even texted our shop's group chat to call in for backup, begging someone to like please come insert themselves into the conversation and break it up and lighten the mood, and please, for fuck's sake, help me. So a coworker comes over to quote help and says something like, "Oh my God, my dad's house just got broken into." My client immediately goes into this horrendous story that I don't even want to repeat. We laugh about it now because A, that was the absolute worst thing she could have done to try and change the subject, and B, the story wasn't even real. She came over and just made some shit up about her dad's house getting broken into and spiraled out my client again, and it wasn't even a real story. I was like, Jesus Christ. So needless to say, I will not be asking her for backup ever again. I made it through that appointment, but came prepared for the next one and was way more proactive about it. I chose my words carefully. I attempted to steer the conversation, but still none of it worked. I was like at my limit and was about to just tell her about herself. Like, do you know how you are? And let her just know exactly how draining she is, when I realized this poor chick is fucking suffering and just needs an outlet. And I decided, instead of being a fucking asshole and calling her out because I was frustrated, that I was just going to try and help her instead. And I told her about my postpartum depression after having my daughter and how I was able to pull myself out of that. I knew that this girl needed an outlet, a night out without the kids, without her husband, to do things with other adults that doesn't involve like talking about her kids or the husband. She needed some kind of hobby or club or group or something. So I told her that in like the gentlest way I could possibly could. And guess what? It got better. It got so much better. And I tell the story for one final tip. For special situations, sometimes they're just crying out for help, but they don't know what they need or how you can even help them. And sometimes there's a deeper reason for why they are the way they are, or they're acting the way they are. And this isn't just their personality. They have a lot going on. And if you care enough about them, or if this is someone that you're going to have to spend a lot of time with and have no choice in that, sometimes compassion is just the answer. I won't say sometimes. Compassion's always the answer, but you can't fix everyone. But there are ways to try and help them work through it without turning it into your job or responsibility to fix them or continue being someone that they're just going to dump on. But you have to be able to draw that boundary if you're going to attempt to help someone. And if you've gotten this far and you're thinking, I don't really know any people like this, it's either one of two things. Either you're a super positive person that is only attracting positive people to you, or there's a strong possibility that you are the energy vampire. Sorry, buddy, it's the truth. Sometimes we normalize things and we're so unaware of ourselves and so unaware of the situation that we don't even see it. And sometimes you just don't know how you are until someone tells you. So I'm going to do you a favor and let you know this might be you. And if it's you, that's okay. Like I said in the beginning, it's a spectrum, and I think everyone has a tendency to be both. You don't have to stay on that end, and you can fix that. In order to change from someone who drains the energy out of everyone around them to someone who energizes and amplifies others, you have to check in with yourself. Check your conversations, your attitude, how you interact with others and support others. Are you a bummer to be around? Well, knock it the fuck off. No one enjoys being around that kind of energy. And start to notice what it is you love about these energy amplifiers in your life. I'm willing to bet they are grateful people. They are supportive. They focus more on you than themselves. They shout out their friends. They cheer them on. They go out of their way to help people. They always have a funny story because they're always finding the good and happy moments in life, not the bad. Whatever you're looking for, you're sure to find it. So find the good things in situations and the people around you, in life in general. I'm not saying that it has to be sunshine and rainbows all the time. Everyone has bad days, and you're not going to just cut someone out of your life because they are having a bad day or a string of bad days. What I'm saying is, have a boundary, protect your peace, and be aware of what you're allowing into your space. Our actions are so greatly influenced by our thoughts. If you're consuming negative thoughts all day, whether it's yours or other people around you, you'll be putting out negative energy. I just recently saw this clip from Tony Robbins in an interview. He asked the other guy to look around the room and find everything that's brown in the room. And then he asked him to close his eyes and tell him what he saw that was red. He couldn't remember because he wasn't looking for red, he was looking for brown. Then he tells him, look around the room for red, and asks, did you find more red this time? And how much of that red was actually red? Was some of it actually burgundy? He found more red than was actually there because that's what he was looking for. It works the same with our emotions. If you're always looking for the bad and negative things in your life, that's exactly what you're going to find. If you're looking for the good things, you'll find those too. You'll even find things that are just neutral and want to call them good just to be successful. To surround yourself with energy amplifiers, though, you have to be one yourself. It's positive in, positive out. Negative in, negative out. Which side of that spectrum do you want to be on? And what are you going to do about it? All right, guys, that's it for today's episode. I hope you're feeling inspired and ready to make some moves today. Remember, it's all about showing up, putting in the work, and staying true to yourself. If you got something out of today's episode, share it with a friend who might need to hear it, and make sure to subscribe so we can keep this momentum going. Get updates on all of our latest episodes, events, and more by following us on social media at Bound by Art Project and by heading over to the website boundbyart.com. Thanks for hanging out and putting up with my shit. I'll see you next time. Now shut up, quit making excuses, and go get better.